Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Scion Music Conference and the panel, Is Touring Still Worth It? My name is John Phillips, and I'm the co-founder of Silverback Artist Management and Controlled Substance Sound Labs Recording. Our current roster houses the musicians and live touring stalwarts Slightly Stupid and Pepper, 25-year veterans Fishbone, up-and-comers Revolution, the Expendables and the Beautiful Girls from Australia, and most recent signing, the Agro-Lights. As a self-proclaimed so-called young music aficionado growing up in San Francisco's Bay Area, I was exposed to an early model which was extremely influential as both an improvisational music outfit as well as a forerunner as being an improvisational business model, especially in live touring. That artist happens to be the Grateful Dead, which I think is a good model to bring up as a live touring conference. Observing a band which, even before the era of digital file sharing, encouraged their fans to tape and trade shows for free, their one rule being you couldn't charge people for the music. I think the Dead really pioneered social networking and music sharing before it became controversial in the digital era. This unconventional methodology became an ingredient in helping the band become one of the highest grossing and most prolific live touring ensembles of all time. I entered the music business in 1991, which I sort of consider the tail end of the golden era of big money record deals and corporate excess, really the good times in the music business. I worked at a couple of labels, mainly was Gasoline Alley, which was an offshoot, sort of co-venture with MCA Records. And as a young A&R executive, I was fortunate enough to sign the band Sublime to that label. That was in 1996, or 1994. By 1996, Brad Noel from Sublime had died, and the band didn't really get to tour under their success. So I started a management company at that point called Silverback Management, and started helping the offshoot of Sublime Long Beach Dub All-Stars develop as a touring band, and then 16-year-old youngsters, Slightly Stupid, which were on Skunk Records, like Sublime's label. Slightly Stupid is currently in their second decade of making music and touring. Their incessant touring has, really been the catalyst to them becoming a live concert attraction at the outdoor amphitheater level, and consistently one of the summer's most, I think, highly anticipated concert draws, especially for their demographic. And so, basically, with that, I just guess I start with, what I brought up first was the Bay Area connection of the Grateful Dead as a model of improvisation, both on and off the stage. As I said, this was the first model of a band that actually encouraged their fans to give away music. In the advent, I think that people would go and attend their live shows, and that method, albeit it wasn't as easy because you couldn't with cassette tapes and whatnot. I think it was advantageous to the band developing their live following, and something that we really employ today in terms of the philosophy at our company and towards the success of the bands is that music's become something that's free-flowing for the most part, and the more people that have your music, the more apt you are to be able to have someone come and want to see the band live and tell somebody about it. So that's always been a big influence for me, and as unconventional as it had been, it's now becoming, I think, sort of the status quo. And with our roster of artists, record releases are still a big part of the equation, but the real bread and butter is the touring, and I think we're using records and music to really promote that. So I also think that within this new era of major record label implosion, focus on the touring model is essential for most artists. Probably not all artists, because there's still margins in the recording business and publishing and whatnot, but as far as something that's a viable and meaningful way to continue your career, your tour, and to be relevant time and time again, I think the consistent touring model is something that's really important. We've got an era of music business and consolidation in the concert industry at this point, which I think mirrors a lot of what's happened over the last 10 years in the recorded music business. Is corporatization and a lot of excessive fees and pricing, and with the advent of Live Nation and Ticketmaster's merger, and sort of, I think, a lot of competitiveness in the marketplace when there really is one competitor, AEG Live. You're seeing a corporatization of the concert business and ticketing fees and things of that nature that are escalating, and I think, again, the general public that becomes wary of, you know, what the corporate side is doing, the concert business. So I think we're looking at a here and now where, as a business, not to say for the artist, but it's getting increasingly harder to keep ticket prices low, or, you know, and something that, again, you know, it's an economy out there, and as big business sort of interferes with that, you know, we have a price setting model, and that's something to be aware of as a live touring band. At Silverback, our roster is, you know, 7 bands. The most prolific touring band out of it was Slightly Stupid. As I said, they started over a decade ago, making music, making albums, making their own albums, selling their own albums, being an independent band. But their mode of living has really been on the road, and the hard work is paying off as, you know, they have become a consistent touring entity, doing over 150 shows a year, grossing in the area of somewhere, you know, $1.5 to $3 million a year as a touring and growing. And that's their livelihood. You know, there's an independent record company that they own that puts out their own records, and that's, you know, part of the equation. But again, live touring is definitely, that's the engagement entity of their sort of, you know, pantheon of existence that they survive and make the most money on. So I have some other things to talk about, but I was going to open it up to anybody at this point if you had any questions moving forward. I want to ask anything. All right. Going back to the Grateful Dead model, live touring, access to free music as a way to promote the band's brand and ticket sales, I think, is certainly something that's become another very vital component. I mean, again, our philosophy has been, and we've seen the results in terms of giving out free music, in terms of download cards at shows, free music on social networks and the internet. And we're seeing as many people, well, with the songs that we give away, those songs often become the most popularly downloaded and paid songs. And again, it's just expanding the base of people that are hearing your music and virally trading that music. So I think if you're coming into the businesses and really emphasizing the live touring, you want people to have your music, and there's no better way to promote your band or promote a tour than by having live music out there. And even in the CD, the age of the CD, I remember back with Scion, it was like their CDs, they would give away so many of them. And someone would say, oh, someone stole the CD out of my car. You know, you'd get one of those CDs or you'd want one. And the trading of that music became, again, an integral part of the band's mystique, and how people found out about them was word of mouth. And when you're not using the traditional models of the music business or the old school models of radio, MTV, publicity, and whatnot, touring and online marketing has become really, I think, again, the philosophy and the model for the roster of groups that we're working with. And it applies to the younger groups coming up as well as the ones that are sort of the, you know, the stalwarts. I think that as we enter an age of increasingly more digital music, the era of smartphones, iPods, computer screens, and whatnot, I think what's really important about live music, and why I think, again, it's a very important element of the whole music business equation, is that the communal element of live music or going to a concert is something that, to me, is ultimately a human experience. It's something that, you know, people crave to be in a communal element, and with music, it's something that's always been the draw. It draws people together, and I think at this point, most people are spending the majority of their days looking at their computers or their phones. People are consumers, are getting their music that way. I think as that becomes, you know, more and more the norm, what really takes the place of the live concert engagement as being something that's completely human and a complete exchange of energy between artists and people. And I think, again, that's what drives our business, is that people love music and they want to be connected to that. So, you know, the live concert to me that's like the church, that's the sanctuary where that takes place. And again, I think with all the technology and the age of information and the ability for us to get music for free, it's like music to me has become increasingly more like wallpaper.